Just doing a quick check-in video. And yeah, hope you guys are staying safe and stuff like that. But I just wanted to make a little video about basketball. And so I was thinking about the 09 class versus the 2011 class, and particularly the James Harden versus Kyrie question. I feel like that's a very tough question. Would I rather have, if I can't have them both, would I rather, who would I rather have run point? Because it's like the system of basketball that I think works the best. I feel as though Harden would be, but it's just kind of like Harden has things that Kyrie doesn't have that he's not able to get. Whereas everything Kyrie has, Harden has it, but he might just not have it at the highest peak. He might just not have as much of this particular, like, for example, Kyrie's known for his ability to dribble the basketball, but Harden is also kind of known for putting people on an island, and kind of that's where the whole thing came. The whole million dribbles to the step back. That, like, Harden kind of made that famous. Like, Harden kind of, like, people just kind of tend to forget the way things, like in basketball, the way the media goes and stuff like that. It's always about the right now. And so people kind of forget that the fact that Chris Paul got injured kind of changed NBA trajectory a lot. Like, those superstar Warrior teams that now that the dust has settled, everyone's like, oh, they were so good, blah, 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 blah. But those Rocket teams that they had to play were literally at that time when Chris Paul was playing good, James Harden was doing things. I'm about to start stuttering and stuff because it was literally insane. Just that feeling that was happening as far as watching basketball, and it sort of reminded you of the Michael Jordan era, where people who watched Michael Jordan back then, they always kind of say nowadays, looking back at it, they say, man, when we used to watch Mike play, it looked like he couldn't be stopped. It looked like when he got the ball, it was just kind of like we knew he was going to score. Whereas that's how we felt with the Warriors. That's how we felt with Harden. That's how we felt. We didn't feel that way with the Spurs. We didn't feel that way with those that Detroit team that won. We didn't really even feel that way with, like, because with LeBron, it was, it was kind of just like LeBron's team was just so bad to where it was kind of like I don't know. I just never really watched LeBron, and kind of like throughout the years, even when he was young with the Heat and early Cavs, I was like, early LeBron was just scary. You kind of were more like scared of early LeBron, whereas like, like prime Jordan was kind of just like, everyone was kind of just like watching. Even the opponents were kind of just like watching what he was doing instead of just playing defense. And so we got that feeling with Harden. We got that feeling with Steph and Clay and that Warriors team. Like that basketball was amazing. So that James Harden, even the James Harden now on the Clippers is just, like, honestly, I feel like James Harden is the better player because, like I said, he has things that Kyrie's not able to get. James Harden's just a little bit bigger. He's a bigger guy. James Harden, he's not as fast as Kyrie, but James Harden can get faster, right? Whereas Kyrie's not necessarily known for how fast he is. Kyrie's just very shifty. He's very quick from point A to point B if they're really like short distances. Whereas like Kyrie kind of has the same speed that like he's kind of got that Kobe speed. He's got good footwork. He can maneuver between footworks very quickly. And so James Harden can work on his footwork. He can get that. So that's something James Harden can work on. So that's Kyrie's strengths aren't necessary. He's a shorter man with a smaller weight. And also he's right-handed. So every opponent that he goes up against is more familiar with right-handed basketball players because the left-handed ones are more rare. Whereas James Harden is naturally left-handed. So he automatically, every time he steps on the court, he has an advantage over every single right-handed teammate that he has. All his team, like he's just knowing that he's more capable with his left hand. Now the whole defense has to shift into left-hand defend mode. So that's not something I have if I have Kyrie as my point guard. I don't have that. I don't. That's a whole defensive game planning for a left-handed player. And James Harden finishes. That's another thing. James Harden is known for his step back threes or whatever, but his ability to finish at the basket is phenomenal. And he finishes with both hands. So, like I said, that left-handedness from Harden is definitely something that Kyrie just is not. No matter how much Kyrie works at it, he's not going to get a left hand like James Harden. You're not going to take a right-handed player at an elite level and expect him to compete with his left hand at the same level. It's just not going to happen. Whereas you're not able to tell Harden to do that. Yeah, but why would I want Harden to play right-handed just like everyone else? I don't. So that's just a natural advantage that he has. So honestly, I would take Harden over Kyrie. And so in the question of which draft class is better, the 09 or the 2011 draft class, if you're looking at 2011, you got Clay, you got Kawhi, you got Jimmy Butler, you got Kyrie, and Kemba Walker. Whereas 09, you got Steph, Blake Griffin, DeMar DeRozan, Harden, and Drew Holiday. So Drew Holiday and Kemba Walker, they cancel each other out. Steph and Clay cancel each other out because they're both amazing system shooters. So Steph cancels out. I will take Klay Thompson over almost everyone else other than Steph. If in that entire list of people, my number one pick would be Steph, and then my number 2 pick would be Clay. If I would literally you guys can pick Harden, y'all can pick whatever you want. If I can get Steph and Clay on the same team, but I can take each of them players and put them in a system and put them in a shooting system, and they'll work for me equally, just as well. They're interchangeable, so they cancel each other out. Kawhi cancels out DeMar DeRozan because if you put DeMar DeRozan on those Spurs teams, he's gonna win with Tim Duncan, and you put DeMar DeRozan with Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker, and those Spurs teams, he's going to give you the same results as Kawhi Leonard. They're literally the same person. And so Blake Griffin versus who's the other dude? Blake Griffin versus Jimmy Butler. Honestly, I would take Blake Griffin. Why? Because Blake Griffin's bigger. He's a little bit big. It's even though I wouldn't say that Blake Griffin is a system dependent player. I would just say that with his size, he could fit into any system easier than Jimmy Butler can because he's just a smaller man. And it's just basketball. That's just the way basketball, no matter what, is even if everyone starts shooting threes 100%, no matter what, the taller guy shooting three is going to have the advantage. So Jimmy Butler versus Blake Griffin, Blake Griffin, I would take him. So that literally, I mean, honestly, that literally leaves Kawhi and James Harden. And if you think Kawhi, that leaves Kyrie and James Harden. And if you think Kyrie is better than James Harden, then I'd say that it would be an equal draft class. But I think that James Harden is not better than Kyrie or had a better career than Kyrie or anything else. I'm just saying, if you go back to their initial draft class, and I could pick both of them, I'm gonna pick the bigger left-handed guy. That's an easy So you put both of these guys on the court. You're telling me they can both dribble, they can both shoot, they can both finish at the basket at a high level, but one's bigger and he's left-handed. All right, well, that's a no-brainer. You know what I'm saying? Like you're telling me he's a little bit slower. I would expect the bigger guy to be a little slower, but Harden's size is literally what he uses to compensate for his speed. Once he gets you behind his shoulder, once he gets you to where he can lean on you and put his positioning, Harden is at an exceptionally well positioned, and Harden is exceptionally well at playing position basketball. So he doesn't rely on jumping. Oh, he's not gonna jump over three guys and dunk it, or he's not 12 foot tall. He's like an average size NBA player that's got a little bit of meat on him. He's just a little bit bigger dude for his position. So he's a very he's like the prototype for Luka, right? He's like the whole, oh man, this works now. Now we can go looking for Lukas. We can go looking for the big slow guys that know where to put the basketball in order to be in the right position. Like the Jokic is big and slow, but he's very positional. But Harden isn't that tall. But I don't know. I'd have to look up. I can look it up how tall James Harden is, but I'm pretty sure he's taller than Kyrie, and I know for a fact that he's bigger than Kyrie. You can just look at even young James Harden was smaller than he is now, but he was never like a skinny, he wasn't like the skinny player. He was like, that was his thing. He was kind of just like a bigger, the bigger left-handed guy that can dribble and then he come off the bench and he's a scorer, But whereas Kyrie's just the point guard he's the scoring point guard, but it's just like, honestly, completely off topic, but Prime D Rose is better than everyone I'm talking about right now. I'm taking prime D Rose over everyone. Honestly, the only way I would not take prime D Rose as my first pick, if I could pick any players of all time, the only way I would not take D Rose is if I could guarantee that I could pick Steph first and get Clay second. If I can get Steph and Clay, then I'll pass on getting D Rose first. But if I know Clay's gonna get drafted, if I pick Steph first, if I know Clay's gonna get picked up by someone else, I'll just pick D Rose. But if Clay's not gonna get picked up, I'll pick them both. Because Steph and Clay, that system's just gonna it's gonna get me more points than D Rose. Steph and Clay can score more points than anyone else. Look, it's completely off topic, but I just wanted to throw that in there. I don't think that we could do enough D Rose praise. I feel like D Rose is someone who we need to pay, not necessarily pay homage, but we need to highlight that basketball. We need to highlight just D Rose as a person in the basketball community. He's for basketball players, especially growing up in that time and seeing LeBron and all those big guys terrified of D Rose. Never forget it. No, can't do too much D Rose praise. It's been nice chilling with you guys. Hope y'all are staying safe. Giving thanks for the thing you do have. Later, Gators.